What does this, and these have in common? They are all connected to here, part of the North Country's and America's history.
I don't think it's really understood what took place there.
Get a rare look at what's been found.
I think it's fabulous stuff.
And where it was hiding all along. As 7 News reporter John Moore uncovers the secrets of Carleton Island. Watch it starting Tuesday at 6, only on 7 News.
Tonight, a new look at some of the oldest military history in the North Country.
Fort Haldimand was a key part of the British strategy during the Revolutionary War. 7 News reporter John Moore shows us some rarely seen artifacts from the English post in part 1 of The Secrets of Carleton Island.
Carleton Island is easy to see in the town of Cape Vincent. But its history as a major British fort, Fort Haldimand, is hidden behind a tangle of brush and the passing of time. To uncover it, we start with a trip to Albany.
Here's our main collection range.
Tucked away in storage at the New York State Museum are hundreds of artifacts from North Bay at Carleton Island, artifacts recovered by local divers in the 1970s. Skip Couch and others took special classes to prepare.
They had a weekend seminars for us to learn underwater or learn archaeology.
Some of the artifacts come from a scuttled British warship at the island. Guide Dennis McCarthy shows me where its remains can still be seen.
It's covered with rocks, but that is a Revolutionary War warship.
These look like pieces of hinge from the hatch on the gun port.
Pieces of the ship, cannonballs, other cannon ammunition, and musket parts, they all bear witness to the fort's importance to British strategy. Historian Pat Wilder.
The British picked a Gibraltar in North America at this crucial point on the St. Lawrence River.
From the lake.
Controlling the entrance to Lake Ontario, Carleton Island was a staging point for British Loyalist and Indian raids in the Mohawk Valley and beyond, and a depot supplying the British as far west as Detroit.
The British were able to carry out their view of how the war should unfold right through Carleton Island. And this was a post that the American rebel army simply could not get to.
A lot of leather scraps.
But the artifacts also tell the story of domestic life and trading at Carleton Island: shoes, jackknives, bottles, and much more.
We have evidence of what people were eating on board the ships. We have evidence of what kind of dishes they used and what they may have been using to cook and eat. I think it's fabulous stuff.
There is no history of any battle at Carleton Island, but Skip Couch remembers pulling 5 muskets out of North Bay, one of them cocked and loaded.
I theorize that there was some kind of a battle that wasn't registered in the history books. There was just too much stuff there that was actually usable. I mean, I don't think that the guys would have sat on a boat and just threw their rifles over the side.
On part 2, a closer look at where all those artifacts came from. We'll set foot on Carleton Island and see the ruins of Fort Haldimand. John Moore, 7 News.
The ruins of a Revolutionary War British fort in the North Country are disappearing fast under brush and the ravages of time.
But there's a new way of looking at historic Fort Haldimand in Cape Vincent that brings it back to life right before your eyes. Here's 7 News reporter John Moore with part 2 of Secrets of Carleton Island.
Carleton Island and Fort Haldimand had natural fortifications. A 60-foot cliff and a steep path around it made the fort very hard to get to, and it still is today.
This road sloping up here actually dates to the time of the fort. It's the main way up to the fort.
My guide is Dennis McCarthy, who has spent years exploring and documenting Carleton Island's history as home to a key British fort. When he began, the fort was easy to see, including massive stone chimneys that were part of soldier barracks. Now they are crumbling ruins.
This would have been the hearth. The food would be cooked here. They'd play games, cards, they'd be given their orders.
Other parts of the fort take a trained eye to see. The powder magazine.
Oh, this we were filled with kegs of gunpowder.
And a huge 10-foot wide, 60-foot deep well.
A lot of stories about gold being hidden as well, but they're absolutely not true.
But don't let looks deceive. Fort Haldeman was carefully designed by top British engineers and built with incredible human labor, including a dry moat carved out of solid rock.
Just to prevent anybody from being able to get to the fort.
If the fort's features have been blurred by time, this brings them sharply back in focus. McCarthy's computer models of the fort. Now it all makes sense. The gates, the bastions, the barracks, the bridges, the guns, and the possibilities are endless.
Eventually maybe taking into virtual reality where you can put a headset on and either at your computer you can look around and see what it would have looked like, or the way virtual reality is going, somebody could actually walk around Carleton Island and look and see the barracks and chimneys still as they were standing.
Fort Haldeman will likely never be a major tourist destination for the same reason it was a great defensive site. It is so hard to get to. But are there possibilities nearby here in the village of Cape Vincent? This village park is about to get a cannon that was once at Fort Haldeman, and community leaders say
we're looking to possibly bring some history back in the form of a new museum here in Cape Vincent dedicated entirely to Fort Haldeman.
And maybe these Fort Haldeman artifacts, now held in the State Museum in Albany, could return home.
We have a lot of loan program we do with reciprocating with museums. They put in an application for the artifacts.
Maybe Carleton Island has more history to be told. John Moore, 7 News.